This is Day Our Town with Troy by North Alabama's podcast. And speaking of North Alabama, we have a cameo today where John Kvach is going to rejoin the program. There he is. I was just telling John that we got a lot of new cameras and a lot of upgrades here, and not to worry, like if I don't have the camera on you enough, I can take care of that later when we're doing the edit, and I can put in anything I want. But yeah, I was just quizzing him on the his episode number. It was 23. So if you go all the way back, and that was, I think it was a week before you got the house, or you announced that you were going to have the Mooresville location, right, for your headquarters.
Yep. I think, I hinted at it, told you about it.
You were like, when are you going to record? When are you going to drop this? I said, next week. He's like, that's too soon.
Yeah.
I can't
We were in the middle of it.
Yeah. And that's I'll show some pictures of it later, but 6 acres, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How's that going?
Fantastic. You know, I think anytime you can go to work and disappear into the woods and a beautiful home on 6 acres and share it with 1818 Farms is no complaints. And I think when people come out, they think there's going to be a little shack in the middle of nowhere. And I think 99% of people who come out to the house are actually stunned by just how nice it is and tranquil, but also the inside, you know, it's full of maps, it's full of information about the Singing River Trail, and I think that's the other shocking thing is that you can have fun and work hard too.
How many square feet is it?
4,000 square feet maybe.
Oh,
35.
2 level?
No, 1 level.
Just one.
Yeah.
No stairs.
No.
They're thinking about you in your old age.
That my
when
daughter.
you're still building the trail.
Well, you know, the ice storm we just had recently, you know, it's one of those things. We don't have handrails on the house, and so I'm always kind of feeling like I'm becoming that person who's like, I need something to hold on to, and I like to,
I'll come back to that, but I also want to introduce Anna Clem, who is the assistant director. Is that your total associate director? Okay. And John is the executive director, and you got that job, I want to say July 23rd, 2020. Is that
Correct.
right?
Yep.
And so it's been 3.5 years?
Yeah.
Going on 3.5 years. And Anna, you've been in the job how long now?
December 2022.
Okay. And there was a considerable amount of chasing, right, that John did to get you to join SRT.
A little bit, yeah.
Are you, by the way, are you in your relation, your husband, to Clem Tire and Auto?
Actually, yes, but what we like to say is we're related, but we don't do Christmases together. So yeah, there's definitely some relation there. All the Clems in Athens are related somehow.
That's where I take my car.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It was funny the other day, my son, we took our truck up there for something, and I said, hey, follow me up there so we can drop it off, or is that right? Or maybe, yeah, I don't know. I guess I was going to pick it up, or I don't know. Anyway, he was following me, and he refused to listen to my directions because I was like, hey, if you go down Waltriana and then take a right, it's going to be easier to get there.
Right.
Taking right turns and left turns. Well, he types in Goodyear and ends up like down past Slaughter on 72.
Oh, almost.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are you doing? And there is a Goodyear down there, but when it doesn't say Clem. And so I was like, no, come. I told you to follow me. And you refuse, so now, you know, you're in this predicament because you assumed that the maps would know where you want to go.
Yep. Modern technology.
But that's where we like to take our cars, so that's a plug for Clem Tire and Auto. But so let me do this. I just want to quickly recap. And I was thinking about this today. I was out on the trail on the Greenway, the Bradford Creek.
Okay.
And as you will say, you want people to find themselves on the trail,
literally
and figuratively. And I've thought about that a lot this week as I was running 3 days in a row, kind of getting back into running. And now it's like I can run 4 miles, but I can't go up and down my stairs without like being in pain.
There's trade-offs.
It sucks. But, you know, I appreciate all the episodes that I've listened to since you were on my show, just to kind of pick up some additional facts and where we are in the story. But I got to admit, this is where I get frustrated at times with certain podcasts because I don't know. They just kind of ask, hey, John, tell us about yourself.
Right.
Well, John said that. He's had to say that same thing over and over. My style is to more like, well, let me do that for you. You know,
You do it very well.
and you've been on the show before. And by the way, jumping ahead, the very first thing we need to do when the Singing River Trail is open is we're gonna have a boxing match or wrestling match between he and I, because it's Virginia versus Maryland.
Well, you know who's going to win? Maryland.
Maybe.
I'm not.
I think
take the
maybe
maybe out.
you could whoop me.
Listen, I've been taught not to hurt my elders, so.
So in short, right? Let me try to summarize for people. So John's from Maryland.
Yes.
Was a park ranger.
Yep.
Taught at Howard Community College.
Correct.
Ultimately came down to the South.
Yep.
Taught in Tennessee, at Tennessee.
University of Tennessee.
Then he came to UAH. Teaches Civil War, post antebellum,
Southern
history, public history,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I think, as you affectionately said, UAH can suck it. You have your tenure, and you've moved on.
I may have said that. I may have heard something about that too, by the way. So you do have people from UH that are listening.
That's true, but I
Yeah.
can also edit.
No. Leave it in. It's good for them.
I can also edit.
It's good for them. No, they heard it the first time around.
Did they?
Yeah, it was good for them.
Yeah, no love lost there.
No,
anyway.
listen. They're coming around, and so am I.
Right.
You know.
But here's the thing. John, when he was like 10 years old, every Saturday his mother took him to the library, and every Saturday he left with a stack of books. And he had very encouraging parents.
Very.
And he dreamed big. And as you read and you filled your mind, it's like, why not? Why can't I?
Yep.
And so here is this perfect scenario where a guy turns about 50 years old and gets offered this job that's going to be now the rest of your career until you retire at 60, right? That's your goal.
Yep.
6 more years. And here you hire a history guy to build a trail.
Yeah.
And the trail started, the concept was back in 2014. They wanted to connect the 2 Calhoun campuses, Huntsville and Decatur.
Correct.
And then by the time you got involved, it was more of like, it expanded to 3 counties. Then you get hired, and then within 3 months, you're like, this has to be bigger.
Yeah.
You're talking to people in the state. They're getting excited.
Yes.
What about us? Then it ends up immediately turning into a 200-mile plus plan, right?
Correct.
That all pretty accurate?
Very accurate.
Okay. Now, and I encourage anybody to go back. I think episode 23 was good, really good with you and I chatting about that. But what's changed, I really kind of want to focus maybe first part of this episode on what's different. One is the inclusion of Anna, of course, in the mix now. And the amount of funding. It started with, what, $250,000 was the original amount raised.
For the master plan.
For the master plan.
Correct.
And now I think you're at like $28 million. Is that right?
Well, that's not. It's what it is we are the conduit to larger funds because we go after them. And so for us, I'll give you, for instance, we're about to release this new 4 for 24 where 4 of our communities each got $1 million grant. And so when you say that, we helped get that. They had to do the work. We had to do the work. We had to create the partnership. We had to create the linkages. We had to give them the technical part of it. And then they apply for something called a Transportation Alternative Program grant, a TAP grant.
Okay.
And so, so you could say we raised $4 million for the Singing River Trail. It was really our communities. It's Bridgeport, Gurley, Huntsville, and Leighton all applied for TAP grants. And so we just finished applying for an $18.4 million grant in Decatur that we'll be hearing from probably within the month about connecting historically disconnected African-American communities that have been cut by highways or railroads or other forms of transportation.
Okay.
And so we helped kind of conduit the consultant who did the application on the behalf of the city and us, the city putting up a certain amount of money to apply for. So if we win that $18.4 million, we could claim it as a win. The consultant could claim it as a win. And then the city of Decatur is ultimately the biggest winner. And so right now we have varying states of funding that's already been received. We have another federal appropriation through Representative Robert Adderholt that once the budget kind of chaos is over, we have an appropriation through the Adderholt office that will be waiting for us. We have the $18 million. We're about to do some big things in Florence. So yes and no. You are right in the scope and scale, but it's not us getting that money.
Gotcha.
It's
It
us.
doesn't flow through our books, but it furthers our mission for sure.
Got it.
Yep.
So win-win.
The best kind. You know why? We don't have to report the money because they do all the reporting on it because they're the one that receives it. So we help get it, and they do the project. And so that's kind of a great way of doing business.
Let's step back on one thing that I don't think that you and I talked about at length when I had you on, but I heard you talk about elsewhere, and that was kind of where you, when you came here, you worked for a nonprofit, and you realized I'm actually pretty good at raising money. You go down to Montgomery, you had to register to be a lobbyist, and you get like $150,000, and you're like, wow. And then that turned into 300, and into 600, and you kind of had this confidence. This is where that confidence comes from, a boy that's supported by his parents, fills his mind with possibility, and it's just a matter of going in. It's not really selling things to people, right? It's just, here's the situation, and you just kind of immediately can create this attention to important matters where they're willing to shell out the money.
And I think, and Anna can talk on this too, because she does it every day, in fact, she was talking about this today, is for a lot of nonprofits, for a lot of for-profits, the relationship is transactional. You know, hey, I want A, you want B, let's go out and get C. One of the things that I've really tried to do as the Singing River Trail initially, and then with adding Anna, having kind of a staff of 2, is let's make this a win-win-win. Not just like, hey, we won. Let's make this authentic, and let's make this a friendship. I mean, we're not friends with every person on the trail by any means, but I would tell you there's many a mayor that I consider a friend. There's many a state legislator that I consider a friend. And I think, so Anna could talk about this in the context of, you take this job with a nonprofit that half the people are probably scratching their head going, are you crazy? You know, why would you take a job that seems so tenuous? And then you get here, and then she kind of got to see what it's like. And what it's like is every day, what we show in social media, what we show in anything we do, A, we're having fun, B, we're authentic, C, we're helping people, and D, we're winning.
Yeah.
And we're winning because we're not discounting that other people also need to win. And I think that's important for you to understand is when we say we're winning, it's not that we're winning at any cost or all costs or someone else's cost. We're winning because Linda Peebles, from the mayor of Cortland, Alabama, just got a over $5 million grant for rural broadband. And you know, so how does that have to do with anything on the Singing River Trail? Well, a better Cortland makes a better Singing River Trail, and a better Singing River Trail makes a better Cortland.
Yeah.
And so what if I told you that broadband that's now available to those kids that wasn't available before, what if we said, hey, we're going to help train those kids up to learn how to do careers and maybe outdoor recreation, or maybe not, maybe something else. But you have the tool, the broadband, rural broadband, but now you have to train these kids. Now you have to give them opportunities. Does the trail bring new opportunities? I say yes.
Yeah. It's interesting you brought up broadband. So, Anna, your family at one point was in Corinth, Mississippi. Is it Corinth or Corinth?
It's Corinth.
Corinth.
Actually, it's Corinth.
Yeah.
Corinth. Okay. Well, and this is why I just really enjoy this podcast, because way back in episode like 35, I interviewed Jessica Brown from First Stop. No. Yeah, First Stop. And then I had also interviewed Activate Communications, and Activate does their social media marketing and stuff like that, their website. And they also work with Ace Fiber, who put broadband out in Corinth, Mississippi. Yeah. And it's life-changing. Yes. Right? These are things that if you had a McDonald's or something, that's one thing. Where you start to look at when a town starts to grow and businesses are willing to invest. But broadband is absolutely life-changing. They finally get it.
And so much. Yeah.
The point they're making is like underserved communities, right? We've had electricity, or like the South was, I can't remember what the percentage was the last to really get electricity in this country.
Yeah.
And then when you look at broadband, which is now a commodity, and if you don't have it, how can you function, right? Your kid like comes home and they're supposed to be on their Chromebook and all this kind of stuff, but how are you supposed to connect? And that's exactly what at the heart of the Singing River Trail.
So you take a holistic approach is so if we have broadband availability and we have kids learning how to use it and being trained on it, And suddenly Anna and I decide that we want to be leaders in the field on outdoor recreation using augmented and virtual reality, because we want our signs not to just be a sign that you see when you're physically there, but if you put your phone up and something comes up augmented reality wise, we need to train a whole nother set of kids coming up. So it's opportunity building. I think that's the key is as I see it, and hopefully I know as Anna sees it, but as our partners see it, is I feel like we're an accelerator of opportunities and ideas. And that the trail is really just the conduit for us to be able to talk from everything from rural broadband to active transportation. It took me 55 minutes from Huntsville to Madison because of traffic today. What if we had good greenways?
Yeah.
We have good greenways, but what if they were connected?
Yeah.
What if they were connected, and what if there was light rail? What if there was this? What if there was that? What if there was e-bikes, charging stations? Those are the kind of things that suddenly now you can squawk and cry about, oh my gosh, my car did this. Like, what I'd say is, why not have all of your opportunities? Why limit to just say, if I don't have a gasoline car, you're not going to pry it out of my dead cold hand. Whereas like for someone else, hey, I don't want to sit at gate 9 for 40 minutes. If I could ride right in on my e-bike, I got no problem doing that.
Yeah.
Those are the opportunities I hope we can create.
Absolutely. The one thing that, it's just for those that aren't familiar, that don't know anything about the Singing River Trail, we've only talked about segments, right? This is going from Bridgeport all the way to the Shoals.
Correct.
And is there still a public input map, or are you still taking that?
No, there might be. I don't know. How about that? I think there was, and if you do want to get, public input
part of
is
the master plan process.
Yeah, public input wise, we have a lot of people emailing us ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are very good. Some of them are interesting. Some of them are like, wow, tinfoil, make your hat now. We're always open and to listen. And so if anyone that's listening to this have an idea, would like to volunteer, would like to be a part of what we're doing, we'd love to talk to you.
Here's you look at the screen. This kind of talks about it's not like it's just a straight shot. Part of this is to come in and connect to existing greenways, existing trails.
Yep.
Phasing might be down a road for right now
It
until a different phase where you can actually lay down gravel or concrete. But you can kind of see, especially when you get into like the Huntsville or Madison.
Yep.
This kind of, or even you go up through Athens and up and then back down out to Florence. So I want to just kind of paint that picture first, and then maybe right now transition a little bit and let Anna discuss a little bit of you kind of joining the SRT. Just encapsulate that. You shared a little bit with me beforehand. But what really sold you on it, and then ultimately kind of what your duties are right now.
Yes, so I met John, I guess it was right after he was hired in August of 2020 on a carport in Athens, Alabama by a mutual friend. I was working for the library doing the fundraising for our Athens Limestone Public Library at that time. And John really came in to talk how literacy and outdoor recreation could work hand in hand. And we'd actually finished at the library because of COVID. We had just finished doing what we call the storybook stroll, where, at that point during COVID, we weren't just quarantining people, we were quarantining books. So we couldn't have anybody into the library. The doors were locked. So we had to figure out how to take the library to the people. And so we created what we called the storybook stroll, where people, families could stroll around downtown and read a book with their children while social distancing, exercising, getting outdoors. And so at that point, I realized, okay, this could work. This is something, the trail is more than just a trail. It is encompassing so much more. I then took another job with a local developer right after that, and decided to introduce John to him because the trail was going to go right through his property. And while
it wasn't going to go through his property without his,
right, with the trail.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, we were going to just bulldoze.
Right.
Yeah.
So
his permission.
Yeah. So the trail was planned to go around his portion of property. So I take John up to meet my boss right after I had taken the job. It was probably like a month in.
Yeah.
And John and I become friends. Just brainstorming, trying to get him into the groove in Limestone County. And John says, "What great job in hiring Anna, and when I get the money, I'm going to hire her." And that was the first I had heard about it. So it took me off guard, and I was like, "You don't have to say that." And he was like, "Oh, it's true."
Yeah, I called my shot.
Yeah.
I wish I remember what day that was. We probably have it in our calendar.
And it's like in February of 2021.
Yep.
Yeah. So then, he told me he was serious, and so after lots of talks, and 2 years later, finally.
What was
the
it?
plunge.
What is it about Anna that just struck you as I need her as the second employee of the SRT?
You know, sometimes things aren't tangible. Sometimes it's intangibles. You know, how do you know? Like, I couldn't tell you what it was, but the intangible is that she was easy to talk with, easy to work with, positive attitude. I felt like had kind of gotten trained in, I'm saying the minor league system. I'm not saying that as a way of being, you know, negative towards Limestone Public Library, but she had experience. And then I just felt, and this is the part, I think, when you're a teacher, when, you know, I spent 20 years seeing good students that were like buried in, for whatever reason, like, hey, I'm not that guy. I'm not the A student. I'm not the top student. Yeah, you are. You just need someone to say you are, and then say, come on, and let me show you how to do it. And I just felt like there was this intangible thing where I couldn't tell you what it was, but it was there. And so I don't know how often I badgered her, but every 3 months, you know, I badgered her.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day she's like, just let me think about it. So I pulled way back. And she made an offer one day I made the offer, I guess. But I said, hey, give me 1 day to ride along with me. And I'll let her kind of go from there.
Yeah, he said, go on a field trip with me. Let me just show you what the job would be like, and what all you'd be able to do. And so spent 1 day on the trail. I think we went, I don't even remember exactly. We went to Huntsville.
Yep. Met with a bunch of different people. City of Huntsville.
Yeah, went to Mooresville to see the house. This was before the house had been announced. The thing about John is, you know, he always has good news, right?
Yeah.
Everything is fantastic, wonderful. And so you start to kind of wonder, like, is it really all rainbows and sunshine? There's got to be something, right? There's something amiss here.
Right.
Nope.
What's he hiding?
What's he hiding? Like, you can't always win, right? And so I always thought it's too good to be true. It's too good to be true. So then when I went on the field trip, I was so angry because it really was
true.
Good news. People were excited about it, you know. So after that was when I decided, I was like, you know what? Why not? Why not give it a shot?
Why not
awesome.
win?
Haven't looked back yet.
Here's the house.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then it's cool style there.
Yeah.
And then there's John sitting on the front porch, which I like.
I know. Wait, I'm just going to a quick story. That was a photo shoot. And that was at about 10:30 in the morning. And they wanted me to drink bourbon. They wanted to have a glass of bourbon in my hand. And the photographer kept saying, hey, put it up to your mouth and pretend you're drinking it. And I would. He goes,
pretend.
It doesn't look like you're drinking, so you have to start drinking it. So after like the 4th round of taking pictures, I'm like, hey, remember, I'm drinking this. It's like 10:30 in the morning. I don't usually drink bourbon at 10:30 in the morning.
He kept filling the glass.
And he kept filling, so we had to keep the glass like this. So, you know, the funny part about that is I went back home after that. I took like a 2-hour nap. That photo op killed me.
Who did you have do your photos?
Soul Growing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Courtney Hancock, who is brilliant. Just knocked it out of the park with her photographer, and the way they spin things for us is fantastic.
Sure. So you spent a lot of time in your car before. That's what you talked about on prior episodes before you had your headquarters. Do you feel like your productivity has really gone up by having this home base? Or
if I had to rate it, my productivity has gone way. My productivity personally and our productivity collectively has gone up because of Anna.
Okay.
Like, I could have an umbrella, a tent, and Anna, and it would definitely be 200% more. The house makes it easier.
Gotcha.
Anna has made it essential. So, yeah, not to Not to blow it up too much for her here, but we'll tell the truth on this podcast.
So then, other than like maps and stuff, have you done a lot of remodeling or
No.
decorating?
So we have a boardroom area. We have a office for us. We have kind of a map area. We have storage area. We have a back porch. And our back porch in the evenings and the late afternoons.
It's the most beautiful place, and
Really?
yeah. So Anna goes back there and communes with nature.
it's gorgeous.
And a glass
Golden hour.
Yeah, and a glass of wine and the sun, and productivity goes to zero.
Hey, that's when we're brainstorming.
That's our yes.
It's stunning. It
Really is. I'd love to have you come out actually.
Yeah, I thought about coming out yesterday or today. I
Yeah.
just couldn't get around to doing
Maybe
it.
one day when you're free, you
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
out and we'll commune with nature.
The great thing is the house is located really between John and I.
Yep.
It takes me about 15 minutes to get there
About 26 minutes from
Mhm.
me.
Do you pass Buc-ee's every single time?
every single time.
Do you go in?
I don't.
I can't
I
not
don't
stop.
do it. I can't
You
not
you
stop.
you stop.
I do.
Okay. Yeah. See, I don't go by it.
I don't-
So,
It's usually just stuff for the family.
yeah.
Yeah.
My wife has like a chocolate jar, and I'll just like add things to
Right.
it. I've tried to get better at not.
I've got the
eating-
mints if you need some.
Oh my god.
Everything they have
Mints.
is fantastic.
Those mints are so good. There's those like
The
cotton
cotton
candy
candy.
mints.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell all your listeners right now: don't go to Buc-ee's and don't get the cotton candy mints because I don't want them to run out.
Yeah, they're
Well,
good.
for a while they ran out of. We like the overbite, which is basically like a hockey puck. They're usually up by the registers, and there's like peanut butter inside,
Oh,
or
okay.
caramel. It's like just this big like round block of
Glob
chocolate.
of
That's
It is
dangerous.
so
joyful goodness.
Oh my gosh! You know how like certain peanut butter, like Reese's, like
Yeah.
it's like a lot of sugar. It's not really peanut butter.
Right.
It is creamy. It's fantastic. But then they had an issue with their supplier for like 3 or 4 months.
Oh.
Because we go as a family.
Broke
We
you of
go
that habit.
the first day of every month. We go to Buc-ee's. It's like our tradition.
Right.
And I think actually we went like on Thanksgiving. They opened like on Thanksgiving weekend,
Mhm.
and we went on Thanksgiving Day, and we went Christmas Day. And
I like the family
Wow.
tradition. Let's
Yeah.
go to the gas station.
we just love it. In fact, I've got 2 of my boys are out in Idaho at school, and I just sent them. I spent $95 at Buc-ee's. I just got like all the stuff,
Care package.
and then it cost me $67 to send it. I'm like, what am I doing?
What are you doing?
I don't know. Not thinking.
Go find yourself on the Singing River Trail.
Well, you know what though, I can't. I love nature. You talked about that as far as one of the best things that came from COVID.
Yeah.
Was it got us out to appreciate
Yep.
nature.
Yep.
Right, and to be more outdoors and unplug. And as I usually just run the Bradford Creek Trail, I
Mhm.
can't decide what my favorite time of year is because I find beauty in every month that I run it.
That's
If
a
there's no leaves, if there's full of leaves, if I'm worried about snakes, it's amazing. And that's just one
Yep.
piece of this whole 250 miles.
It's true.
What's the total miles up to now?
like 225-ish.
225-ish.
There's a place just east of Leighton, Alabama, which is in the western section of the trail. Last fall, Anna and I, last fall or whatever, last year, we were driving back and we stopped along the railroad tracks. And it must have been fall because the harvest was about to happen, I think. And there's these beautiful flowers just blowing in the wind. We both got out and just started taking pictures. And it's like, this is our job.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. Like, we're 2 adults that are like out taking pictures of like these beautiful moments
Yeah.
in Alabama.
We're scouting out where the trail could go, and all of a sudden we're just struck by.
Yeah. And it's just like, who's got it better than we do? Nobody.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So,
Let's talk about sweet trails now. That is it seems like a byproduct of similar to the way this has started,
yes.
or the model as we've gone through is you have some success, people, want a piece of it. There's more success.
Correct.
Now all 67 counties right in Alabama want some sort of interconnection between everything.
Yep.
And they talk about that process of who sat you down and basically said, John, we want you to run this. And what ultimately what Sweet Trails is.
Right. Sweet Trails Alabama is really just a master planning process of let's identify existing trail, let's find the lowest hanging fruit, let's find, vacated railroad lines, let's find old country roads, let's find the opportunities to build trails throughout the state of Alabama. and let's begin to really focus on creating an outdoor recreation economy built around Sweet Trails, Alabama. And so on behalf of Innovate Alabama, we were given funding to do a 1-year study. We're using Alta Planning and Design, and Matt Hayes is the project lead on this. And they are literally going across Alabama, and they are looking at where could a connected trail system through the state of Alabama be.
And Alta did the original plan in 2014.
For us, they did.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Western Route Plan, too. And so we're partnering up with Jacksonville State University, who they're fantastic. They have a trail science program that we invested in as a nonprofit. We turned money around and invested in trail science. For us, it was working with groups like the Alabama Trails Commission and the Alabama Trails Foundation, Freshwater Reserve, which is in Birmingham. There's trails throughout the state of Alabama. And we really just wanted to bring as much of those together, marshal that power, marshal that strength of collective cooperation. And at the end of this fiscal year, we're going to present the state of Alabama a full-on report, an active, I don't want this just to be a doorstop, but a master plan for how to begin the process of creating trails throughout the state of Alabama,
right,
as an economic driver, as a driver of tourism, as quality of life, as workforce development, as active transportation, all these things, and blend it in, and then hand it to the state of Alabama and go back to our day job.
That's cool.
Yeah.
This was really kind of an answer to or a call to action from the Hoover Report.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what's the Hoover Report?
You know more than me.
So the Hoover Report was a report that was done on Innovate Alabama. The state of Alabama wanted to know where innovation could come from. And, some of it you'd think is absolutely normal. Hey, let's invest in entrepreneurial growth and development. People like John Joseph at the E-Center.
Yeah, love that guy.
I know.
John Joseph the Fourth, don't forget that.
John Joseph the Fourth.
Mm-hmm.
So John Joseph the Fourth, how do you replicate that across the state of Alabama? Those are the kind of things that the Hoover Report you would think would bring up as part of innovation. Well, one of the things that they found was outdoor recreation was the lowest hanging fruit for innovation, in that you have the natural resources, you have the people, you have the things, but now you have to bring it together, and you have to, at some point you have to bring some kind of form together. You have to have the ability to know what you have and all these different things. And so the Hoover Report was really the impetus for the Innovate Alabama Corporation, which is a public-private partnership.
Okay.
And so they're the ones that invested in this, and they're the ones that are going to be getting the plan. And then they can begin the funding process as they see fit. So it was really the Singing River Trail just wanting to work with other trail systems, other people, elected, non-elected, outdoor rec people. How do we bring this together? How do we give it our best for the state of Alabama? And then how do we then allow the next step, which would be Innovate Alabama, taking it and running with it?
I would imagine this is unprecedented, right? There's probably no state in our union that has a interconnected trail system.
So this is the best part. There actually is Matt Hayes was one of the people who helped create North Carolina's master plan. So we were very pleased that our project manager through Singing River Trail also happened to be the guy that was part of the North Carolina system.
Interesting.
So yeah, and he's a Huntsville native, by the way.
Matt Hayes.
Just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, Alabama would be smart to get him back here.
So let's touch on that. I know you had mentioned some of the best trails, or it's not just the WNOD or the C&O Canal, which you worked on, but the Virginia Creeper Trail,
The best.
was one.
Yeah.
What were some of the other?
Swamp Rabbit.
Swamp Rabbit.
Yeah. C&O Canal and Virginia Creeper would be hard to beat. There's one called the Chessie Trail in Lexington, Virginia, which is it's along the Maury River, and it's an old railroad bed. There's so many opportunities out there.
Yeah.
And in the state of Alabama, you have Chief Ladiga Trail, you have the Pinhoti Trail, we have the Richard Martin Trail, which is just here in Athens. And I can't stress enough, if you want to know what it's like to go out and commune with nature, go to the Richard Martin Trail. You can start just outside of Athens, or you can start at Elkmont, or you can start up on the Tennessee state line. but it's about 12 miles of some of the most beautiful places to go hike, run, bike, or even you can ride your horse on it too.
Moderate terrain?
It's 100% flat.
Flat. Okay.
Yeah. Gravel, natural surface.
So with the North Carolina one, like we all know, I'm assuming that most people are aware of the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
But that can be like, you need to be an expert hiker at times if you're going to do the full 2,200 miles or whatever.
We're trying to do just the opposite.
Exactly. Well, then you have.
We're trying to make this
highly accessible.
We're trying to make this accessible.
Like I can't even take my mother to like Rainbow Mountain. She can't handle that.
No.
You know.
No.
But here's something where it's different, where there's these interconnected trails, and help me understand if North Carolina's like this, but at the same time, it's meant to be moderate. You're going to drive to work. It's a pleasant afternoon.
Yep.
You can be in a wheelchair, whatever.
Yeah.
And you can have full access to all of that.
Yes.
Is North Carolina's like that?
That's what they're trying to do.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, and now with the advent of batteries and the e-technology, you know, e-bikes. So Anna got to be the guinea pig. I wish I had the video for you because we could have put it up here. But I have exclusive video of Anna learning how to ride an e-bike.
Yeah,
over there with
it's a learning curve.
Tucker, Nate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nate Tucker and
Yeah. And so for us, we were at a downtown city function in Decatur. Anna gets on an e-bike and zooms off, and I thought, well, there you go. That was the first and last time Anna's ever been on an e-bike.
After almost hitting a curb, but it's okay.
Yeah. So
I have a problem with those things though, because I want you to use your muscles.
I know.
You know?
I want you to
pedal.
But your mother, who can't go to Rainbow Mountain, could also then be able to go.
And to your point earlier, you can commute on it.
Yep.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, because you don't want to go to you don't want to go to your job sweaty. Right?
No.
You sweat in Alabama.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can wash dishes and I'll sweat. Like
I watch you washing dishes and I sweat.
So then the Sweet Trails thing, just to play that back, is you're just going to you're using Alta to do the master plan, then you hand that over to the state, and then they'll figure out how they're going to build.
We're overseeing the process.
Okay.
And so we're doing that as a source of pride for the state of Alabama, and as something we felt obligated to do because we thought there's an opportunity to do this. You know, you asked who really made this happen. Senator Andrew Jones, State Senator Andrew Jones, has really been a leader in outdoor recreation, and I think he wants to make his mark on the state through outdoor recreation. And so, you know, for us, it's people like Andrew Jones, you know, State House Representative Andy Witt, Rex Reynolds, Anthony Daniels, Senator Arthur Orr. You know, these are people who have 1,000 other ways they can spend their time and do things, and they've been very kind to help support us both as Singing River Trail and as Sweet Trails Alabama.
Yeah. Anna, what are some of the treasures you've discovered? I know that if you listen to, we just discovered Payne's out in Scottsboro. We went out, we went to unclaimed baggage.
Yes.
But anytime we do something like that, and you're in a town, like, hey, let's go into the town and eat lunch or eat dinner. But
Jackson County for sure.
Yeah.
Scottsboro, Jackson County. I don't think I realized how beautiful Jackson County is. That's what we were talking about. You know, some people vacation in Gatlinburg. You know, you could just go to Jackson County and get the same experience. It's so stunning. Leighton, of course. Have you been to Leighton?
No. I know that's the Slugfest or
No.
Sledgefest.
Sledgefest,
yeah.
right? In Leighton?
Yep.
Leighton has so much character and personality.
Yep.
The mayor there pretty much has, you know, cultivated this sense of let's find our own identity. Let's foster creativity.
That's Leighton right there, right?
Yes, that's
your
Leighton.
And that's Percy Sledge. That's a brand new mural.
Mm-hmm. Home of Percy Sledge and Jimmy Hughes.
Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's during the ice storm.
Yeah, one of the coolest things about Leighton is, you know, their sidewalks were in disrepair. The cracks in their sidewalks, and the mayor was like, we don't have the money to fix these sidewalks right now. So he, you know, gives $50 to some artists around town and says,
fix them.
Figure out how to fix them. And so there's mosaics all over the sidewalks in downtown.
Oh, really?
Where they just use art to fix their sidewalks.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But she's food oriented, and so you're talking about Payne's.
Food motivated.
Yeah, she's motivated by food. I eat to live. I think she lives to eat. And you mentioned Payne's.
Yeah, Payne's for sure.
F&D's Soul Food in Leighton is fantastic. Not that we're giving plugs here, but if you're asking,
Yeah, I'm asking.
you know, there's little places along the trail, along the proposed trail route that.
Cook's Museum,
Yeah,
Nature's Table. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you normally wouldn't think that the restaurant at a museum is top notch. The museum restaurant is top notch. Like we will literally drive an extra 20 minutes so we can have lunch at Nature's Table.
Yeah.
Sure.
But there's so many. I think the thing that excites me is we want to be in each of these places to help the mom and pop, you know, but we also want to be there to help like the chains, like they're employing Alabamians, right? So you can badmouth chains. You can say, oh, it's outside money. Well, if you go to Town Creek, Alabama, and you want to laugh that they have a Dollar General, Dollar Tree, and a Dollar
Family
Store,
Dollar.
Family Dollar, all back to back to back, go ahead and laugh. What I'd say, that's tax revenue.
Yes.
That's people employed. So if you're going to complain about, oh, these lazy people don't work, well, then don't complain if they're working.
Yeah.
And I'd say this is Mike Parker, who's the mayor of Town Creek, called me one day and said, I want a disc golf course in Town Creek, but it costs like $50,000 to do it. And Mike called me and said, hey, I want you to help me build this disc golf course. You know, and people could say, well, that's not your lane. That's not a trail, right? What I'd argue, I'd go back to my analogy of a better Cortland or a better Town Creek is a better Singing River Trail and vice versa. Long and short of it is Mike and I start triangulating and thinking, and by the afternoon, I'm not joking you, as we put up a certain amount of money. I said, hey, Mike, we got you. But by mid-afternoon, he got to the point where he almost had it paid for, and he made this very bold claim, and I'm making this on your podcast, so Mike owes me. He goes, if I don't get to $50,000 today, I'll buy you a steak dinner. He got to $45,000 in one day or 1 week. And what I'd say is that town needs something to make it spark a little bit. And so, you know, so if you go in and there's a Jack's, there's the the dollar stuff and all that. Now there's a disc golf course, and now he wants to do a mural, and now it's going to be the Singing River Trail. So it's that spark we're trying to add.
Yeah.
That sparkle, you know, like let's giddy up and go.
Did you know they're putting in a disc golf course right off the Bradford Creek?
Really?
Yeah. I'm not sure the full story yet, but whoever's farm it was, I don't know if they sold it,
right?
But it's going in, and they're making like a parking lot.
Okay.
So I guess presumably the city owns it, but it's right off the trail, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what now.
Now imagine on a Saturday, instead of getting in your car and driving to disc golf, you're able to get on your bike or go for a run, carry your stuff, and suddenly,
yeah,
it
opens up a lot of possibilities.
Trail just got crunchier too.
Within like the last year, give me a really cool story. What cool stories do you have or experiences that just?
I think, you know, and I hope Anna answers this as well. You know, it's not necessarily one cool story, but it's what Anna said earlier. I think a lot of people think, oh my gosh, you're only telling us the good stuff. What's the bad stuff? Man,
Right.
Listen, we have bad stuff, right? We had a setback today, the state legislature and some state funding today. And I guess the way I approach it is you could approach it as like, oh, woe is me. Or you could say, let's work toward it, let's work around it. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But it's how you take life. And I think that's something that I hope to instill in my children and me and Anna and everyone else around me is like, you know, it's only a setback if you let it become a setback. And so I would say that the majority of things that that have happened in the past 3.5 years, everyone would say, I would agree, that is a positive thing. We've had our negatives, we've had our challenges, but it's how you really work with those challenges. And each of those challenges have kind of turned around and became a positive because we decided not to become the victim. We decided not to become the, oh, woe is me, how come I can't be good in archery? Practice.
Yeah.
And if you're not good, then enjoy it. And I think so, like, what I'd say is like when you go to Cortland, Alabama, and the mayor's beyond happy to see you, when you're getting closer to putting signs and wayfinding up on trails in places like Madison and Huntsville and Athens, and people are legitimately and authentically excited for you. It's not really like the thing you're probably asking for, like the funny anecdote. You know, I'm not Charles Kuralt, but I do watch what's going on around me. And I think the thing that I'd say is that in a time and place where it seems like politics and people, what news channel you watch, this, that, and everything else, it's all the things that divide people.
Yeah.
And then we come to town. I think Anna would agree with this. We don't divide people.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd also say, we were talking about, how John had to talk me into coming on board with the Singing River Trail. The same incessantness that John had in that situation in cultivation is the same thing that John was doing and still does along the trail in all the different communities. I don't know if did you tell him the story about Derek putting out the lights in Leighton? It's one of my favorites.
I don't think so.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's when we were going through and doing the Western Route Master Patrol Plan, and Alta had created this rendering for Leighton and what the downtown could look like should they apply for a TAP grant to redo their downtown corridor. And in the rendering, there was a mural on the wall, which now they actually have the mural in the building. But then there are also string lights across the downtown Main Street from building to building. And Derek called John one day and said, "Hey, where do I get these lights? Is that what he
Like, how many feet do I need?
How many feet of lights do I need?"
Like, for what?
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, well, the picture that you sent, and it was more of the construction basis, but
Yeah.
Derek saw it literally, like, hey, I gotta go get some lights. That's something I can do. I can go ahead and do this now." So yeah, he went to Lowe's, bought boxes and boxes full of lights, and had the county put them up.
Wow.
Yeah, Sheffield Utilities put them up, and they turned them on. And the funny thing is, that night, the first night they turned those lights on, they go back and forth through downtown. Everyone came outside.
Mm-hmm. And then
That's
there
cool.
were, owners of the storefronts, because they saw that, they took so much pride in it. A few days later, they're out there painting
They're painting their buildings.
Yeah.
The football team comes down and picks up all the trash
Mhm.
downtown. The library raises money to redo itself. It's that trickle up.
Yeah, it's
It's that-
domino effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do it for them. You just have to kind of give them the confidence to do so.
That's so cool.
And I think the thing is, the first time I went and saw Leighton and met with Mayor Derek Silcox, is I walked through their downtown. I'm like, man, this is beautiful. Like, I love this. It's a whistle stop, single lane whistle stop downtown. I'm like, this is beautiful. I love this. He goes, no one says that. I'm like, well, I just did.
Mhm.
And his thing was like, you don't understand what that means for a sense of pride when someone from the outside comes in, instead of going, oh, it's old, it's this, it's that. You're like, this is beautiful.
Right.
That makes us want to be a part of this. Well, what I'd say to anyone that's listening to this right now is I said that because I meant that. And I think that's another reason why we've been successful, is that authenticity is a big part of what we have to be. If it feels like we're just grabbing for money, if it feels like we're just grabbing for opportunity, man, that you see through that immediately.
Right.
If you see the fact that, tomorrow I'm going to Jackson County to speak on behalf of the Community Foundation for Greater Huntsville. Mayor Jim McCamey is one of those people that I was talking about earlier. He's someone I work with, and he's a friend. And I don't want my friend down. And I don't think my friend wants to let me down. You go to Gurley, and she hasn't even seen this. We got exercise equipment for Bridgeport, Scottsboro, and Gurley. It's outdoor recreation equipment for adults that can do 10 different exercises. Let's get healthy. Let's get ready for the Singing River Trail. So we got a grant through the Community Foundation, and Mayor Stan Simpson of Gurley sent me a picture yesterday, and they've put their equipment up, and they're getting it ready for people to start using. And what I'd say is, it's like, man, it's not that we bought this equipment for them because we expect something, but it goes back to, we want to help Gurley as much as Gurley wants to help us.
Yeah.
And so that's the fun part. It's like being Santa Claus, I guess. It's like you get to bring gifts and good things and good tidings all along the trail, and you're not there long enough to have to deal with the local politics or whatever else that's going on.
Right.
And so we get to see like the very top 1% of each town. And I'll tell you, there's some issues that we have to deal with that part of each town. Like Huntsville's growing quickly. Athens is being swallowed up by Huntsville, and there's issues there. Decatur's had issues that we all know about because of the news.
Yeah.
Okay, think about this. All right, if I could say one thing to Decatur, the city of Decatur, is you had this horrific incident, and however you fall on it, I don't care, right? But what I'd say is this. It's happened, and there's a lot of issues that have come from this shooting that happened. 3 or 4 days before that shooting, we hit the submit button on that $18.4 million grant that says we want to help reconnect downtown Decatur. We want to help create opportunities in downtown Decatur. So what I'd say is anyone that's, kind of criticizing the city of Decatur, what I'd say is they put the money up to apply for an $18 million grant, and they are putting their money where their mouth was. They can't control every human being that's in that city.
Right.
So what I'd say is look for the good. And the good is if we get that grant, maybe that's a source of healing, because that $18 million would literally build out the entirety of the Singing River Trail through Decatur.
You wrote an article, I think, recently talking about like Decatur embrace the rust.
Yes.
Right. And that kind of goes back to the point you made on the other town of like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're a river city. Get over yourselves.
Yep.
Like, this is what
Be
you
who
would
you are.
expect.
Yeah.
Right? Be who you are.
Yeah, it's
Be
like going
authentic.
down to the waterfront and be like, ooh, it smells down here. It smells like the river because it is the river.
Right.
Right? So like instead of like, be like, man, that smells like money. A lot of greenways are built on sewer easements. And I tell people all the time, like the sweet smell of sewer to me, it smells like opportunity.
Yeah.
And a lot of Madison has done that. And so, yeah, I think it's just how you look at things. So
Sure.
the way it's funny is when I wrote that article about the city of Rust, I got some emails from the city at first that are like, I'm not sure if I understand this. And then I think the understanding of like, it's patina, it's age, it's wisdom, it's all these things that you've accumulated.
Well, I think of when we first moved here, how much I love Low Mill.
Yep.
Okay, someone could look at that. What a dump.
Right.
What's in there?
Right.
And then you go in there and you start realizing the charm. Like, this is
Yeah.
brilliant. Don't tear the thing down. But I can still see this elevator that maybe cattle were going up and down. Maybe there's bloodstains on the floor. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's
There's
awesome.
a story there.
There's a story.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Lincoln Mill. They rebuild it and they're using it for,
Look at
hub zone
Stovehouse.
type stuff. Stovehouse.
Stovehouse was in a spot when Patty and Danny Yancey began to build that out. That was a place that no one wanted to be.
Sure.
Right. Not even, you had businesses there, but there had been businesses there that had been there for so long. It was what it was.
Yeah.
And then you have two people that believed in their vision enough to say, I think we can make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of opportunity that I want other people to feel that they're entitled, that they're empowered, that they can do. And that's going back to what you said is every Saturday when I got my pile of books, I like stories where you have to do something to get something.
Yeah.
Like Lewis and Clark didn't take the 747 across the country.
They walked.
Right. They walked every step of the way, or they floated on a boat, or they rode a horse. And in the end, they did it.
Right.
Right. And, I think right now, as more and more World War II vets, or not more and more, but World War II vets are dying and dying off, and people call it the greatest generation. That's fine, right? You can call it that. Band of Brothers makes it super easy to call it that, and all the good feelings that come along with that.
Revisionist history.
Right, but ultimately, the Civil War, the soldiers that fought in that were the greatest generation. Our founding fathers could have been considered the greatest generation. What I'd say is, why don't we become the greatest generation? Stop bickering.
Right. I want to go back to the point you were making of, hey, you got some bad news today. And the reality is, I like how you phrase this. You're not a charity. You're a competitive nonprofit.
Yep.
And so therefore, and you've known this since day one. You're kind of in sales. You put on that sales hat. And even though you may not really calling it sales, but you're out there knocking doors, asking for money.
Yep.
You're selling, right? You have to give a presentation. It has to be, the way you deliver that.
Yep.
All goes into that. And that's just, I think sometimes I'll teach my kids, look, just everything in sales is it's in the pipeline.
Yeah.
You're going to have stuff that's midterm or, short term, midterm, long term. It's okay, but just keep having good relationships with whomever. It might pan out. You might get that sale next year.
Yep.
But eventually it'll come to fruition.
That's why I say, see you later, not goodbye.
Right.
Because ultimately, you say no to me today, I just hear, see you later.
He does.
To Anna's point
Yeah.
on incessant behavior.
Never goes away.
Nope. Like
So-
fungus and mold.
What I would imagine, Anna, are you doing all the social media?
Or,
She does some of it.
Some of it?
Yes, some of it. I was. Yeah, we've got someone that's handling our social media.
Okay.
Thankfully, that's
like it?
that's a
Well, no,
a big job.
I'm just trying to and then in your job as far just the amount of I look at your committee that you have for like the Western Trail. That's a lot of names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keeping up with meetings that you're having, briefings, permits.
There's a lot of balls in the air.
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
who's
Yeah.
doing what when. Like, do you have some of a project management hat that you put on, or is that all outsourced?
Yeah,
as well?
honestly, we tag team a lot of it. John is obviously big vision, big picture. He writes. I've made this joke today. He writes a lot of checks, and I have to cash them. So he'll before I know it, he's like, "Yes, we're doing this," and move forward. And then I'm going behind him, making sure that actually
Perfect.
follows through. So I guess you call it boots on the ground. I don't know, or just picking up the pieces, making them all fit together. But yeah, just it's opened up John to be able to dream even bigger, scary.
Let's talk the water access, and I think there's some part of the trail where you want to get people into like little paddle boats
Yeah.
or something. Like,
Yep.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, let's just use the Tennessee River as an example. That's a very large river. And if you're not used to kayaking or canoeing, you get out on the Tennessee River, let's just say at Gunnersville, that's a big enough body of water where you actually have waves created by boats and wind. And suddenly now it's kind of intimidating to have a family of 4 out there if you've never done it before.
Yeah.
And so as we began to look at the opportunities that we had connecting our trail to other things, one of the things was that you have this amazing Paint Rock river. You have the Flint Creek. You have Big Nance Creek. You have Town Creek. You have Spring Creek. And it just kind of dawned on us that we have an opportunity to maybe take the trail to a whole nother level. And what if we invested in more intimate bodies of water that would allow a family of 4, if you fell over, to stand up, right? Or to walk over to
Find the bank,
find the bank and not be intimidated. And maybe this is then the entry point into a passion for a canoe or a kayak, where you then say, oh my gosh, I love this. I'm ready to go out on the Tennessee River. And there's this thing called the Tennessee River Line that allows you to activate where you are and say, oh, look at this on my app here. I know where I'm going, this, that, and everything else. So I feel like we're the training wheels we could become kind of the water wings, I guess, to use a better analogy, to help you get to, maybe that's all you ever want to do. Maybe it's not. So just, again, looking for opportunity. Why let it sit there and not be a part of economic development and the recreational arsenal that we have as a state?
Sure. Has the work or the thought of Sweet Trails in any way muddied your vision for what you're just trying to do for SRT?
I would say that we live in a great part of the state, and that we have great partners in this part of the state, and that because we have relationships here, we have connections here, it's easier to do business in North Alabama. Anna's not from anywhere, we're in her territory, right? I'm a transplant, but this is my territory. You get below Coleman, it's a whole nother set of people's friends and acquaintances. And so
sometimes feel like a separate part of the state. It's something.
Yeah. And so what we tried to be is respectful, not to come in as saviors, but come in as collaborators. It's been interesting to learn how different parts of the state work.
That's when I had do you know Joey Cece?
Yes.
I had him on, and he said, we were talking about, I guess, like Mayor Battle and Mayor Finley. And he's like, if you're in Mobile and your dad wasn't on the Mardi Gras committee, you're not running for mayor.
No.
He's like, if you're in some other, I don't know, you might have said Montgomery, and you were born under the wrong bush.
Yeah,
you're not running for mayor.
No,
forget about it. But Huntsville is different.
Yeah,
Mayor Finley's from Kentucky. Tommy's from Birmingham.
Right.
And Huntsville is just, hey, you want to help out? You want to get involved? You're a case in point, John. Right?
Yep.
Hey, welcome.
Yep.
Help us out.
True.
Yep.
Right.
And
more inclusive.
I agree. And it's not that the rest of the state, there's muddying of the waters as much as learning the ways of other people.
Yeah.
And then, I think too is when you look at the statewide plan isn't meant to replicate what we're doing. It's meant to assume what's already there and take in the local culture and take in the natural resources of the local area. And instead of saying one size fits all, say, hey, we're listening enough to understand that from Selma to Montgomery, there's a potential for a civil rights long march from the Edmund Pettus Bridge to the Dexter Avenue, the church is, that alone right there, if that's all we did was build that out, that would be a huge win for the state of Alabama. There's 25 more of those types of opportunities that are just sitting there. So if we identify them and they become a start point for someone else to say, I think I can do that, then I think we've done our job.
I want to talk about the launch tank now. Let's there's your flyer.
That's right.
Did you attend it last year, Anna?
I did.
I was there.
I just came on board.
You had just come on board.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. It was in Athens State last year.
Yep.
This year it's going to be in Madison, right?
So
Is that right?
So Space and Rocket Center.
Space. Okay.
We're calling it Madison.
Davidson Center.
No, actually it's called Spock. The new theater.
Oh, that's right.
That's there.
Okay.
We have permission to use that. So
nice.
Yeah.
So can you talk about SRT? This is its the launch tank. I mean, it's the second running of it, right? Third run. That's right. Can you talk about what it is and the types of companies you're looking for to apply and how they can benefit? Anna.
Go ahead, Anna.
No, you go ahead.
Nope.
I'll tell the fun story about green books.
Okay, fine. So anyone that's listening to this that has an idea, a project, a business, something that they think that they could take to the next level and they want help. And here's something I learned in this ecosystem, the entrepreneurial ecosystem, is that it's not just the money that you could potentially win at a pitch competition, but it's also the coaching, the networking, all the things that go with it. And so one of the promises that I made when I took this job was we'll find a way of reinvesting back into our neighbors, reinvesting back into the Singing River Trail service area. And so met up with Tony Eberhardt, met up with John Joseph IV, and I said, guys, I think the three of us can do something pretty special. Let's blend outdoor recreation and entrepreneurial growth and development. What do you think? Let's have a pitch competition. I got, both of them are fantastic human beings. Sure enough, we pull it off in Decatur at the Cook Museum. At 45 applications, we award 9 people win the first year. And the people who won the first year, Mike and Mika Fellows, are fantastic human beings. Couldn't ask for a better couple to win. When you throw a party, first of all, you want people to show up.
Yeah.
We had 250 people show up for the live event, the culmination event where they do their pitches. Then you pray that if you have a party that, the people who are kind of the king and queen of the prom aren't jerks, right? Well, we won on all counts. They're the furthest things from jerks. They're in fact just wonderful human beings, and they wanted to start a glamping company. And so we were investing in not only them but their glamping company. Wasn't on the Singing River Trail. It's in Hazel Green, and now they're looking for a second location. So that's in 2 years. Last year, Foul Wow won.
E-bikes.
Or e-bikes. What? Sorry,
Nate.
Nate.
Foul Wow finished
Nate
second.
and Ash.
Yeah, Nate and Ash. Sorry, it all blends together.
Rocket City e-bikes.
Yeah,
there you go.
They were in the same
There's
building.
a plug.
So so Rocket City e-bikes won, and Ash and
Gave a great pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very creative pitch.
Yes.
And so what I'd say is what we want to do is we want anyone with an idea or opportunity or business that wants to apply. We would love for you to apply, and I'd love for you to be able to participate. So what we do is we whittle it down. We have judges from all 8 counties, and we have them go through the applications. They whittle it down to 8 or 9, and then those 8 or 9 then start getting coaching to how to pitch. They start getting kind of guidance on how to create opportunity. And then on the culminating event, that's the last day, is anyone that's there that is one of the 8 or 9 people, you've already won. You're going to get something, but it's something, your pitch that day dictates whether you come in first or you come in 9th.
Mm-hmm.
And how much money you get.
How much money you get.
Right.
So for us, it's really important way of doing business for us because we wanted to give back. And so last year we had 46 applications. We had 8 finalists. All 8 finalists got funding and coaching and all those things. So this year we're doing it, and this year we'll be at the Space and Rocket Center at the new, whatever Spock stands for, space, whatever. Nanu,
I don't
Nanu.
know.
I know it's a Space Camp Operations Center.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, there you go.
That's
Yeah.
not Spock though.
No,
It's something.
it's close enough.
Right. Right. So, I always, well, I'm not going to joke. They're our hosts. So I won't joke on their behalf. I was going to say something about Tang and Styrofoam and NASA. So long and short of it is we want to partner with Space and Rocket Center. They're hosting us, but we're considering this a City of Madison event because Madison, the chamber,
Michelle
Epling has been fantastic, and just really kind of made it impossible to say no to as a City of Madison event, even though it's in Huntsville. Yeah. So she likes to tell people, so I will say this so she doesn't yell at me later, is that the Space and Rocket Center is a Smithsonian Institute affiliation. So we say that must be like Switzerland. So they actually, they're not any part of any city.
Going back to Nate and Ash, they have the e-bikes, which of course you could use on the trail.
Yeah.
And then Fowler's idea with the passport, I thought was brilliant.
Wonderful. And we had just talked about before that. Someone had given us a passport from overseas.
Korea.
Yes. And said we needed to think about implementing something like this. Of course, that's overwhelming for us just because we have our hands full.
Yeah, to realize we brought the whole staff today.
Yeah, here we are.
So
when I was at pitch practice and I heard Jonathan's pitch, I texted John and I said, "Oh boy, here we go. We got this. This is amazing."
I love Fowler.
Yeah,
he was my episode 7. Just a cool dude.
Yeah.
And I probably have 20. I probably bought 20 or 25 of his T-shirts.
Mm-hmm. Super creative.
Yeah. Just a great guy.
And he nailed it.
Bad dad jokes and all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know. Like he says, he's got thousands and thousands of shirts in his house that he just collected over the years. Like, I would almost do like Storage Wars. Or like, as long as they're like maybe like give me if those are large, I'll buy it.
There you go.
I don't even care what's in
grab
it.
bags.
I'll trust that they're cool shirts. You know what I mean? I might do that.
Yeah.
I might go to his house and say, I'll give you $500. I want that as far as crates. Like he has crates.
Yeah.
Buys crates, T-shirts.
Jeez.
But I think it's brilliant. I mean, if anybody's like that's new to this, well, you have it in Madison. Well, guess what? We had it in Decatur the first year, and it was in Athens last year. Here it is here, and then who knows what you'll do next?
I do.
What are you gonna do next year?
Jackson County.
Jackson County.
We're going to Scottsboro.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then Florence, we had Anna and I had a great meeting a couple weeks ago with the mayor and some other folks from Florence, and they were very interested about how do we get on this. So what I love is we're building that capacity.
Yeah. And the coolest thing about Launch Tank, of course the money is wonderful for the entrepreneurs and the coaching, but really the platform that you're given. The room is full of municipalities, leaders,
bankers,
investors, yes. And even there was one finalist who was able to connect with a county leader and to see if they had some space for them in their county for mountain biking. So those connections would never have been made.
Yep. So it all works.
No, it does.
Yeah.
It does. I'll definitely apply.
You better.
And I'll spend a little more time than I did last time on it. Because I was in
I won't judge you on that, but yes, you better.
Yeah, and I was going to say one of the coolest things too is a lot of these entrepreneurs that apply have never done anything like this, or never been in front of people. This is like wearing, having your training wheels on to a degree. And one in particular at the pitch practice was terrified, absolutely terrified, and really apologizing, saying, my idea is not good enough. And the coaches were like, own it. You have a grand idea. It's fantastic. People want this. Own it. She got up there on the day of the finale and she nailed it. She absolutely nailed it.
Say
the confidence. Green Books.
Green Books.
Yes.
Remind me what that business
it's a
model
mobile bookstore.
So she goes she'll go to like a city event, a festival, something, and brings her books. Brings the bookstore.
A trailer.
Okay.
Yep.
I know on the Greenway they have like a book. You can just take a book, I guess, and then maybe I don't know if it's like you add one and take one, but like a library on the trail.
A free library type
free
thing.
Library, yeah.
And
That's
she's
really
a
cool.
bookstore, and she's a mobile bookstore.
Yep.
What's on the horizon this year? What do you want to accomplish in the next, 6 months by July? Give me an understanding.
This sheet
of that.
can't answer, so I'm not
Is
going.
it?
Yep, I'm not going to answer. I cut my mic off because I'm not.
I'll hit mute.
Oh gosh, the next 6 months.
Yeah, by July, like by summer. What's your kind of near term?
What are you gonna say? I don't know if I'm gonna spill the beans on something. Take it.
What
is
does
it?
Anna want then? Let's just turn this around.
Yeah.
What does Anna want? This is you have 50%
You know what
say
we're
in
going
this.
to do. Go ahead. There's no secrets. There's no secrets on the Singing River Trail.
That's right.
We'll grow our team.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Yeah, it's about time to expand for sure.
Okay.
We're gonna have to grow our team and
We have kind of a strategic
mhm.
operational person that we want to really think about and whatnot. But
Yeah, it's interesting, now that we, as John Allen would call it, we're an entrepreneurial board, entrepreneurial nonprofit. So there's been a lot involved in it. It's been fantastic. We've been able to stand up on our own 2 feet and grow our board.
Yep.
And so there's been a lot involved. And we need to untie ourselves from a lot of the day-to-day tasks, and so we can get back out on the road,
Yep.
cultivate some more relationships, maybe build some more opportunity. And so signage.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're doing the thing.
We-
So we finished our wayfinding family of signs last year with Alta Planning and Design, and we're actually in the process of identifying existing trail. We think we have about 51 miles of trail that's existing, so that we are going to get signage created and start signing the trail.
Wasn't that like 50 grand? Is it like initially is what you needed for
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
TVA is stepping up,
Yeah.
and TVA is helping with some of the costs for us. Jared Mitchum, who happens to also be our new board chair for Singing River Trail, has been a fantastic partner as Jared Mitchum TVA. But Anna and I got to tour a local sign company and really kind of get a feel for what are we looking for, how do we want to do this, and
What the process is like.
Yeah.
It's a lot more involved than you think, for sure.
it's not hard, but it's not easy.
I had Jared on. Do you know that?
Did you?
Mm-hmm. Recently.
He's awesome.
Okay.
It
No, I
was
didn't
really
see-
good.
I didn't see that.
Very
Oh
well
yes,
spoken.
actually you did. Yes, I saw it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great guy.
So so we're very lucky. So our new board members, it's really been a great shot in the arm. Jared has been fantastic. I'm not going to name them all because I'll leave one out and then they'll yell at me. But all of them have just come in as, and I'm not saying this like, hey, pat us on the back, but when each of them were asked, each of them made the comment that this was an honor. Like this felt like something that was above just the normal I serve on a board.
They all bring different perspectives, different strengths that we could use,
I think we did a bunch of name dropping. We should go back and say. So John Allen's the CEO of Committee of 100,
Correct.
From which Launch 2035 was born out of.
Correct.
Right. And Rob Hamilton's been on the show. He's the current chair of Launch. You mentioned John Joseph and Tony Eberhardt, both been on the show.
Yep.
They're the co-chairs for the entrepreneurial committee.
Yes.
Right. And that's also Sarah James is involved
Who's
with
land use.
land use.
Yep.
Kind of where that all comes together. So this leads to a question though. So when you want to expand, is it entirely your decision, or are you go to the board, or is Launch still kind of a mother may I? How does this work?
So we started realizing that if Launch was to start going after funding, we are using the same EIN number, right?
Okay.
Same tax number.
Right.
And this is okay to share this? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So Singing River Trail had to come out from under and birth from Launch 2035. So we took the EIN number. They are rebranding, rebirthing with a
As
new
Launch,
EIN number
just
as
Launch,
Launch.
right?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's
So Singing River Trail is now a separate 501c3.
Gotcha.
so the child became the parent.
It can happen.
Well, when you hope it, when you're in your older years, you want your child to come back and be like, hey, I want to take care of you. And that's how we see it. That
Yeah,
you
we're
know,
cousins.
Yeah, we're cousins now instead of brothers and sisters.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
But what I've just about anybody that I talk to, that if it comes up, I'll mention the trail. I'll mention like, by the way, did you also know that we're trying to bring a zoo here? And most people are like, I didn't know about that. what's the plan for just inundating the marketing, the advertising, the promotion of SRT, so it's a little bit more okay, people know about this?
Statewide, so it's funny. Statewide, we're very well known because we've used our media assets pretty well as statewide story. We're in a lot of local stuff. I think the thing that we lagged on most was social media, as just a function of for a while it was just me, and then when Anna came on board, it takes time.
Sure.
And you know this better than anyone.
I do.
So we decided to get a little extra help with that. And so I think, from our perspective is we could do social media, but someone who does it for their career can do it better.
Yeah.
And so we're working to kind of get that word out more. But
signage is going to help as well.
signage is going to help. Yeah.
I noticed here's your website. This is under Social Wall, which basically is just your Instagram, which is cool.
Yeah.
I like that because that's an easy.
Yep.
You
Absolutely.
upload something and then it lands on your website. I do the same thing. Like my website is dynamic. Whatever goes up to YouTube, if I wanted to, it comes into the website. Whatever goes up to the other platforms comes in, and it just automatically just keeps expanding and scaling. But that's there's some really good stuff in here.
I've been slowly forced out of posting.
Oh, he has been forced out.
I have fun.
Cool.
I have fun posts. I have whimsical posts.
You can do TikTok and stories all day long, John.
I did a post one time. Well, I'll let Anna tell it. I thought.
He put raw meat on our Instagram, and that's when I'm drawing the line.
She took my raw meat post down.
I did. I absolutely did. I'll go behind his back and delete it.
What was wrong with it?
Nothing.
It was just not appetizing. That's what's wrong with it.
And so,
Which remote is this?
I'd say this. I think when I started, I think a lot of my friends probably thought, "Oh, that's great, right? You're not gonna do anything. Like it's impossible. This is an impossibility."
Right.
And then it went from kind of being an if project to, man, this thing actually is getting legs. Hey, that's cute. And then, we're having no issues with gathering people, gathering forces, and suddenly it kind of became this not if but when.
Right.
And I think that's the moment where you wonder sometimes where it teeters between 49% and 51%, and it kind of goes in which way is it going to go. And I think for a lot of projects, it's that spot where do you make the right decisions when it's teetering between 49 and 51. And so far, we've made the right decisions. And I think a lot of that came down to authenticity, which I already talked about, having the right people in the right place, doing the right things. And then the last thing is grit. Anna's kind of joked about this, but we pursue doggedly. How about that? That's a nice way of putting it. That there's that. Well, we take a no, we take a however you want to term it, failure, and just say, okay, it's not spin.
Just tweak it and go back, right? And that's another reason why I think John was able to convince me to go along with going after Sweet Trails. Was we've had a hard time kind of figuring out cobbling together TAP grants 1 mile at a time, right? There hasn't been a true infrastructure for funding for these sorts of projects. And so Sweet Trails is kind of, the step in the right direction for the state of Alabama to create an infrastructure to be able to do that.
That's a good way of saying that.
Yeah.
It's the playbook. We're giving them
So that's
one
why it's
aspect.
important to us.
Yep.
To, we're not just leaving our day job and then taking this big job with the state. No, it's actually to create the infrastructure to make our job easier.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes.
And maybe be created faster.
Yes. I feel like we were painting the fence like Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, state, isn't this fun? Do you want to paint too?
Yeah.
Or Karate Kid, where he
Or
actually
Karate Kid.
enjoys the painting and wants
right.
everyone to learn karate.
Or get a sprayer.
Yeah. Right. And I can catch a fly with chopsticks.
Sure can.
Wow. All right, I want to ask you each kind of some fun questions.
Oh, God. I remember this. Yes.
Well,
You
this will be a little
remember.
different.
Yes.
But I have a hypothetical I'm going to start with. And I've asked this. If you listen to some of my podcasts, I sometimes ask this, but this is one of my favorites. So, Anna, for you. Actually, it's going to be applied to both of you, but I'll do the setup for her. So, it's a Friday night. You're driving down near Probst Arena, the downtown.
Yeah.
And there's that little road that's always under construction.
I live in Athens.
Okay. You go to the Probst Arena though sometimes?
Sometimes.
Okay. There's just a little road, and just imagine it's 9:30 at night. It's May. It's beautiful weather. A concert's let out. People are leaving the concert hall. They're leaving Probst Arena. They're just going to Big Spring Park. And you're one of the only cars that can kind of be down in that area. So you have the windows down. You got your besties in the car. What song are you cranking and singing to?
I knew it.
And you want everybody
Oh,
to
gosh.
hear this. What song?
Ooh. Salt and pepper, none of your business.
Wow. I don't know if I know that one. I know Salt and Pepper. None of your business.
G-rated.
G-rated?
Yes, the edited version.
Okay.
Clean version.
You know every lyric. You could just start riffing it right now.
I could.
You can if you want. If you want,
No.
start rapping. All right, John. What about you?
Oh,
I don't know if you're a big.
I should have been
Hall
thinking
and
about
Oates.
this.
Hall and Oates.
Hall and Oates. I love Hall and Oates. Yeah, it'd probably be a Hall and Oates song. It could be, I go through phases. In fact, I just watched the Ken Burns' series on jazz
Oh, did you?
and country music at the same time, so I feel like I'm very conflicted. But yeah, it would be. I could see a little, Hall and Oates would work. Don't Stop Believing. Maybe like
That's Journey.
no, I'm saying like Journey.
Oh,
I could do.
gotcha, okay.
I could do like Hall and Oates. I could do
Good
Journey.
save. Good save.
Yeah. So like I was thinking more like 80s kind of, inspiration rock.
Eye of the Tiger.
A more
No.
old school rap.
Yeah. Yeah, now I could do that now. But if I had my window down, I don't know if I want to be associated with Journey or Hall and Oates. So, I would say for me
But nobody's around, right? Oh, no.
No, people
are
People
around.
People are around.
Ooh.
And you might even have the Singing River vehicle with like the.
Oh, yeah. They're going to
the
have to change
logo
their
on the
answer.
side.
Especially children are around.
Yeah. Okay, how about this? And by the way, I didn't know that was Journey. You could I can verify.
You were talking fast.
I would say that Chris Christopherson. Like I could do a little Texas twang, a little good singer-songwriter kind of thing.
You know what stopped me in my tracks? I think it was Joey was the first one. It was like he was like episode 67, and he said Sugar Magnolia, Grateful Dead. I was like, what? Like all the other
Joey
answers
Cece?
before.
Oh, he
were-
said it.
Well, he said it real quick, but it was just like it. All the other songs had been something that's kind of like I knew, or you would just kind of imagine belting out, and I was like, okay, good answer.
Freebird. How about 1977
Ooh.
Oakland Coliseum, Freebird, Leonard Skinner, the full video. I'd have that blasting out. I don't give a damn.
They recorded it in 1977.
They could. They if your viewers want to watch something incessantly, 1977 Oakland Coliseum, Freebird, Leonard Skinner. And it's kind of, and I'll warn you right now, the backdrop is a big Confederate flag, and I think the context of that was, I think as they saw it, they were rebels of the rebels, and so I don't think it was like, hey, this is, I don't think they were thinking of Confederate generals when they had it in the background, as much as they were kind of coming out of the 60s and the hippies and all that, and then Leonard Skinner comes along, and this Southern rock, this kind of rebellious rock that wasn't outlaw country, and I think, but you watch that,
Okay. I just had the soccer coach who's from England, Jack Collison, on the program.
Yeah.
And he said it was like a YouTube, like a live version of Simple Minds singing, I can't remember the song, but he was like, it's every now and then there's just that live song that's just gone more viral than the song itself. And
there you go.
He was right. And he's like, I get on the treadmill every morning, and it's like 9 minutes long, and it's the perfect thing where he listens to the whole thing, and then he's done with his treadmill workout or whatever. But I was like, I'll have to check that out, and I did.
Madonna, Ray of Light.
Yeah, that's a good one.
See,
A little repetitive, but
I mean, it's all good. Whatever. You're talking about salt and pepper. I don't want to get too haughty over here.
All right, here's another music question.
Oh gosh.
An artist you would want to see perform Super Bowl halftime.
I think the one at least this shows how much I follow pop culture. I think the one that I would like to see is performing. Usher?
That's right. Usher
Oh, I
is.
would love to see Usher perform.
Well, you'll see him on
Yeah,
Sunday.
I'm
You'll see him on
excited
Sunday.
about it.
FYI, you'll be seeing.
Or JT, Justin Timberlake.
Yeah. Well, he's not going to be invited back after the whole Janet Jackson incident.
Oh, true.
That was-
Very true.
Can you believe
I
that's
remember
been
that one.
20 years
Yeah.
almost? I think that was 2005.
Yeah, I was living in
That's
Knoxville when
right.
that happened.
You were what?
I was living in Knoxville when that happened.
Yeah.
I remember that very clearly.
It's like,
Because
what just
I went for a
happened?
walk on halftime, and I came home. My
Missed
wife
it.
is like, "You just missed that." And I'm like, "Well, this is before there was DVR and all this. So I missed that." You know.
By the way, his superpower that he really wants is X-ray vision,
Heck yeah.
but he won't tell you why he wants X-ray vision.
All the wrong reasons. That's why. I would say I would love to see. Now you can't do this now because they're kind of dead, or
Kind of
partly
dead.
dead.
They're kind
Is I would love to have seen. I'll go back to country. I would have loved to seen like the Outlaw, like Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, Chris Christopherson, and Johnny Cash. Like I would love
Yeah.
to see that at a Super Bowl.
That would have been cool.
You can still get Alabama.
Yes, I could.
Your brother's an agent for him, right?
Yeah, he is.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
We could hook that up.
she's fancy.
We could start with getting him on
And
the
Lee
podcast
Greenwood.
first. Oh, Lee Greenwood, the one-hit wonder.
You said it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only song I really know.
I'm asking. You
Really
said that. I
is,
didn't know
yeah.
who that is. What song did he have? God bless.
America.
Yeah,
All right, here's another question.
making me sweat now.
Would you rather have tickets to the Super Bowl, Game 7 of the World Series, or the Olympics? Anna,
Ooh, Olympics. Yeah, for sure.
winter or summer?
Depends on where it is.
Oh, good.
That's true.
Cold.
It's in Paris.
Cold or hot?
In
Yeah,
the spring,
that's-
right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how we do
Yeah.
over there.
Go sweat. Yeah. Game 7, and the Baltimore Orioles
That would be cool.
playing, and they win.
I was a big Orioles fan growing up.
You had good taste,
I
even
was.
being from Virginia.
Yeah. Well, it was before the Nationals.
Mm.
It was a good stretch there
Yeah.
where I love the Orioles. I could still probably tell you the starting lineup of the World Series team.
What year?
83.
Oh,
Like, Al Bunbury.
Yep.
Rich Dower.
Yep.
Cal Ripken.
Yep.
Eddie Murray. Then it gets a little fuzzy after that. Dempsey was your catcher,
I love Dempsey.
right?
Yep.
And then I'm trying to remember that guy that had a third after, like, obviously this wasn't Brooks Robinson. It was after that, but anyway, it's just
yeah.
funny. Like,
Impressive.
I'm like 8 years old, and I'm
Yeah.
just starting to play baseball, and the Orioles were my team because they just won the World Series. I was just moved to Virginia and loving life.
Yep.
And Camden Yards is still awesome.
Yeah.
Even if it's old.
Yep.
It's charming.
It's gotten better.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Anna, give us this is a question that for those watching that are hoping to learn a little bit more about you, but
Careful
what
you
is
ask for.
something that like a hidden talent or a passion that
Hidden
you
talent.
have
I can juggle.
you can juggle that most people
can.
wouldn't know? You can do like 3 or 4.
Oh gosh, why have to throw 4 out there?
Well, I don't know. I'm just how
'Cause
good of a juggler
Yeah.
you
Because
are.
a monkey can juggle 3. That's why.
So I could
No, wait.
'cause a monkey
2. Never
can
mind.
juggle
A
3?
monkey will can juggle
Whoa.
2. Sorry.
You know, you
2.
did
Back
say
off.
that you have a kind of a tough time with hobbies because it's always about like you're trying
Yeah.
to develop yourself, right?
Right. Yeah. Yes. So I do have some things that I love to do. I love to paint. You know, I was
Mhm.
in art for quite a while. And I always remind myself I need to get back into it.
She's very
Do
creative.
something I love. Yeah. I love anything that has to do with creativity or reading. I carve out time for reading, that's for sure. The only reason I knew how to juggle was because I had to learn. I twirled growing up.
Oh.
It's a majorette. And so I had to learn
Makes sense.
with batons.
You juggle batons.
I juggle batons to juggle through batons. It's harder than it looks, John.
Yeah, no, trust me, I couldn't do it. I'd kill someone.
What about you, John? I know last time I showed you a bunch of trail pictures and we went through that, but like, you know, maybe something that you used to do, could be a hobby or a collection or something, but that maybe a lot of people wouldn't know.
Maybe 15 to 20 people know this, but over the course of the last 3 years, I won't tell you where it is for my own protection and safety, but I decided that I wanted to hand build a cabin 10x16 cabin, patterned after Walden Pond and Thoreau, and it's done pretty much. There's a lot of small things I have to do.
Yeah.
I'm adding a little porch to the side of it, but I built it, and I literally carried almost everything up a third of a mile hill, deep in the woods of Marshall County. And I have an off-grid. I told you this before, but I have an off-grid cabin, and now you can stay there, and you can cook there,
Wow.
and you can sleep there, and it's very. I was up there 2 days ago, just getting some work done late evening, and what I'd tell anyone is, and I'm not saying this to say, look at me, but I will say that if you could write a book, build a trail, and build a cabin, what I like to think is, like, what I want to show my kids is, like, all those things were possible because I made them possible by saying yes.
Right.
And not being like, I don't know how to build a cabin. You know how I build a cabin? I watched YouTube after YouTube after YouTube video. I read book after book after book. I studied plans.
Yeah.
I made I made enough my mistakes that I won't tell you here. And I did it.
And you're stubborn.
And I'm
Does it have
stubborn.
electricity to it?
So I have a solar generator.
Okay.
And so
Indoor plumbing?
outdoor plumbing. This is off grid.
All right. This is phase one.
This is the way it's staying. So
Okay.
I've invited a few people up there. I had a very small group of a bourbon society, a couple of friends, and we went up there one night. It was cold. It was windy, and we built a big fire. And one of them brought 3-inch steaks, and
Oh, nice.
and they cooked them out there. And all I had to do was supply the cabin. And we all went in, and we sat there and ate, and just I had the wood fire stove going. And it's funny for me, it's like, this is what I do when I'm up there. And for them, they're like, let's do this again and again and again. It's like, I have to build it. So I'm now going to start building a second cabin.
Oh, wow.
And so this one, I actually cut down. I have 20 acres of all different kinds of trees, but I have a lot of pine. So 2 years ago, I cut down enough pine, raise them off the ground. They've been drying for 2 years. And so now I'm going to try my hand at actually building a log cabin.
Gotcha.
Like a straight up log cabin.
What's the one right now made out of?
It's made out of inch thick oak slab that was given to me actually from a friend from Limestone County. So I have Limestone County wood that was transported to Madison County, taken down to Marshall County to build a off-grid cabin.
It's a regional cabin.
It's a very regional
Man.
cabin.
When I interviewed John Joseph, he talks about the 4th. He talks about every year he kind of does a personal retreat.
He
Which
actually
is
wants
really
to do that
cool.
at Singing River Trail. He's actually
Does he?
asked us to do it at our house.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's I think the hidden talent or the talent is I think, she just said stubborn might be my talent.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that, right?
I can do that well.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He's
That's good.
determined.
Is there anything we haven't covered that you would like to?
I think from our perspective, it's the opportunity to talk to someone like you, and I talk to a lot of people, print and TV and things like this. I want to thank you for including Anna on this, because I don't think Anna gets the chance to speak as much, and I don't think that's her inclination. You could tell by.
Well, why would I have to? We've got
because-
you.
You have to come back by yourself.
Yeah, I want her to come back by herself.
Got
But you asked me a question earlier, why Anna? And what I'd say is that there's a perfect balance of who I am and who she is. And she doesn't try to change me, and I don't try to change her. And, you can laugh and call it a work, like a work marriage or whatever you want. But like something rooted in true friendship that allows us both to be comfortable. Listen, I sat a lot of hours in this car with this woman. We traveled around the state of Alabama.
He talks a lot.
She listens. Okay,
She listens a
I'll give you a
lot.
quick story.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are driving all across Alabama. We're coming home one night from a trip in Birmingham. It's pouring rain, and when she's the co-pilot, she's also the DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and it's horrific, right?
It's the best.
Okay.
It's salt and pepper.
No, no.
Actually, no, and I'm going to change my answer now.
No, okay. So I can tell you a quick funny story. Is I have a friend, Dennis Matson, who is a huge Hamilton fan. I don't care about Hamilton.
Because you haven't seen it.
Exactly. It's my ignorance showing, right? I'm not listening to. I don't care about.
Musicals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Miss Saigon ruined it for me, I think. Okay.
Okay.
So, or Andrew Lloyd Webber in general, I think, may have ruined it for me. So one night, it is like white knuckle, raining, driving, and Anna's the DJ, and I can't really do anything to stop whatever she's about to do. So we're driving
held him
home.
hostage.
She held me hostage, and she turned on Hamilton, and we listened to the first half of the soundtrack.
And what did you say?
It wasn't bad.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was fine. Okay.
So I'm now Dennis's hero.
Yeah.
Because I held John hostage and made him listen to it.
I love Wonka and the new Wonka soundtrack.
The new Wonka, it's
so
fantastic.
Good. It's so good.
Now I am a sucker for a musical.
It makes my elbows hurt. I know. And Dennis, that's what Dennis, in both Anna and Dennis have said.
It's witty.
I know. I did like it.
If you ever get a chance to see Spam-A-Lot.
You heard it here.
Have you seen Spam-A-Lot?
No.
You have to see Spam-A-Lot.
Really?
It's hilarious. I think, John, last time I complimented you that with the beard, like you're a park ranger, like you were born to be a park ranger.
I feel like I'm bored to be like
you got to keep the beard. I've seen you without the beard.
Yeah.
Definitely a beard guy.
Oh, my kids tell me I'm ugly without a beard. And
I didn't say that.
Amazing with a beard.
But I also would say I think you should do some stand-up comedy.
Oh, gosh.
You should try that bucket list item if you've never done a
stand up on a stage and
like a comedic routine, 5 minutes open mic night.
If I could aim it at the audience,
I
would
mean,
do it.
Yeah, I think he's quick and he's witty and what
Hard
do you
to argue that.
It's funny.
Anna,
let's wrap that up. The head is growing.
Listen, maybe okay. How about this? Maybe that is something.
I'll do it with you.
Okay.
Because I think.
Wait, what am I saying? Then I actually have to do this.
I think if you do like Toastmasters,
oh,
then like that's part of it is that you ultimately have to do like a stand-up thing. If you do Toastmasters.
How about we just roast John?
We could do
I think that would be
a self-roast.
Oh my gosh, we would get Dennis involved.
No.
You can come.
Troy,
you're invited.
I'd love to do that.
No, I don't like the sound of this.
One thing I don't think she would mind me saying this. You spoke at Kathy Reisenwitz's New Liberals thing a few months ago.
Yep.
And, I know she's big on housing. I've had her on the program. And, dense, affordable housing, I get that. But, man, when you start, depending on who you are and where you're from, a lot of that is our circumstance that we grew up in life.
Yep.
I am a small town or a town person. And the Singing River Trail is exactly that type of thing that's connecting these towns with charm and it's rust or whatever, right? And that's, that's kind of the big difference I have with Kathy and urban living is I love small town America.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Anna's small town America. I mean, Athens is
like. What is that supposed to mean?
In a positive way. Like she's all about Athens,
the people, the connection, where you can actually have connection. I live in downtown Athens, and downtown Athens is growing for sure. But you still can go downtown, and you're going to see the same faces or familiar faces, right? With a few mixed in because there's new faces coming in. But there's a comfort there for sure.
It's like the Cheers. You always want you want to go where everybody knows your name.
That's right.
You're right.
And your guy Nick Cannon from Canebrake just won Nick Dunlap. You know that name?
Yes, yeah.
The guy that won the.
We've had two, Adam Hodges and.
But he's an amateur who won a PGA event.
Yeah.
Now and then he actually finished dead last in his first PGA event, but that's okay.
Did he really?
He got $37,000.
Okay. Oh, you mean as a paying like he?
Yeah. He would have won 1.5 million.
Here's the question I want to know. Typically caddies get 10% of the winnings. So what happens when you're an amateur and the caddy that carried his bag?
Nothing.
He gets nothing.
Yeah. So is it? It's
probably his dad or his friend that went along.
No longer his friend.
Oh yeah. Because that's a different. When you're an amateur.
Yeah, but man, 10% of 5 million.
Well, it was 1.5.
Oh,
he
1.5.
could have won.
Okay.
He could have won.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, but now he went pro, and hey,
ruined it all.
Well, here's what's really interesting, though. I mean, to talk about golf, but now Live Golf's on the scene, right? And there was rumors he was going to get picked up by them,
right?
And that's guaranteed money. Yeah, like he could have signed for whatever and got a signing bonus. It's like, ooh, but do you do that?
Maybe they have a juggling thing where you can.
So funny.
Well, any final thoughts or shout-outs?
Shout out your kids.
Shout out to my kids.
Yeah, they're going to listen to this.
What's their names? You remember their names?
Yeah, I do. Okay. Liam, Vivi, and Mac.
Okay.
Yeah.
Family? Are
And
they
they better
named
be in-
after family members?
Yes, Liam is named after a couple of our grandparents, grandfathers. Vivi is also named after several people in the family, and then Mac is from my middle name, McDaniel,
Okay.
my maiden name.
Your maiden name?
Mm-hmm.
John, any final thoughts?
No, I'm good. I guess you'll see me at the Laugh Shack next Thursday, 8 o'clock, and
And you're opening
you're opening for me.
I love it.
I'll be roasting myself.
the Laugh Shack.
The Laugh Shack. Let's get right off the Singing River Trail.
That's right. Come
Just-
on, Thursdays, quarter beers,
And I'll be throwing the
Free-
tomatoes.
free popcorn. Come down to Laugh Shack.
Well, hey, it's been a pleasure, and all the best to both of you. Excited to see you at the Launch Tank event, and then excited to hear as you expand your staff what that looks like.
And I'd like to add one more thing.
Yeah.
Is next time we do this, you come to the SRT house, and we get to interview you.
That'd be great. You want me to bring some of my gear, or do you have some stuff there?
No, you better bring your gear.
Sounds good.
I think someone needs to interview you.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think episode 11, Tori interviewed me, but it's been a while.
All
It'd be fun. Yeah, I'd love that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to see what kind of questions you come up with.
If a prior ghost from your past could speak to you, who would you want to speak with?
My grandfather.
Why?
Mm.
I didn't get to spend enough time with him. He kind of raised us. Both of my parents had head injuries when we were kids, so they've never really been parents to us. My dad died like a couple years ago, but they were the ones who raised us. And I only got like 10 years with them, and he was just a phenomenal man and a phenomenal human being.
What do you think he would say to you?
He'd probably say, "You're doing fine, son. Just keep doing what you're doing. Right? We taught you well." I think that's what he would say.
Those are the kind of questions we'd ask.
Yeah. What do you worry? You know, what should I worry about this? Should I worry about that? Can you see the future? But no, I think he would be pleased. You know, I would just like to see him, give him a hug. Yeah, probably him.
That's cool. I like that.
Do you know? I feel Tim Knox. I don't know if you knew that name. The guy that I had on the program a couple of times, a real estate agent, just passed away. Like you know, one of those 62 years old, went in for her heart valve surgery. I guess there's always going to be some sort of complications or risk, and he died. And he was like a friend. Like I was starting to like really like the guy. Like he was like King Midas. Anything he does, he's successful. And he's the kind of guy, if he gives you advice, you take it, right? You really consider it. And I was going to have him back on the show, and it didn't work out, just whatever. And then he got sick for like 3 weeks and was in intensive care and passed away. That kind of hits you. It always hits you, you know, when people pass. But there's certain people that's like, whoa. And it really
Hits you close to home.
It really hits you close. Like sometimes even more than a family member.
Yeah.
Because of the how you spent your time with them. So anyway, all the best.
Thank you.
Very excited.
Thank you.
And do you have any more stickers you brought? I got some T-shirts I'm going to leave you with.
So we have T-shirts coming.
Oh yeah.
And we'll be getting you a T-shirt.
Thank you.
But maybe we can do some kind of promotion with this, where some of your listeners, we can definitely send you some T-shirts.
Oh yeah, great idea.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right. All the best. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.